Once upon a time, there was a princess. She was a very lovely girl, as most world maidens are, and was very sweet and kind-hearted princess too. Her father had not started any wars and had not made any enemies, so it was assumed the princess had nothing to fear as she went through the marketplace almost daily to be with her subjects. One day, while in the market, the princess was passing by a group of young women talking darkly behind the back of an elderly woman. The princess was to scold them for such behavior when the witch turned to them.
"You dare to offend me, you young pups!"
She cried as dark magic sprang from her hands. The woman had ducked, but the princess had not. The princess gave off a cry of surprise as she was struck and could feel magic flow through her body. The frightened girls, realizing what just happened and who the girl before them was, ran off as the old woman, not aware of who the girl was, scolded at the princess.
"May the full moon show the creature you truly are,"
she spoke before vanishing, leaving the princess confused of what just happened to her. That evening, as the princess thought over the event earlier in the day, she questioned what the witch had done, having not fully heard what the witch said over her coughing. She stopped, feeling a sudden chill run down her spine as she stood in the light from the window. It was nighttime, but the moon had risen outside, now full in the sky as its light shone in the princess's sweating face, confused with what she felt. The princess felt warm, like something was welling up inside her. She tried to call out, but her voice caught in her throat, suddenly feeling like her body was swelling up. She looked down at her clothing, feeling like they were constricting her, realizing soon enough that she was growing, her form becoming more mature than before, getting some years of age to her appearance as she continued to grow older and her dress continued to strain. As things calmed down and the changes finally came to a stop, the princess opened her eyes and was surprised by her appearance. She had grown slightly older, her figure more wasp-like in a slender hourglass shape. It was strange as she looked herself over and curious why she looked like this. It didn't really seem to be a bother, so she, for the moment, chose to ignore it as best as she could. The one thing the princess did need to do was get some better fitting clothing as her current dress was ripping apart at the seams. So she headed towards her room. Along the way, she ran into a guard who complimented the princess on her figure that night. The princess stopped and thanked him before continuing on. Curious, she never received much attention before for her looks. She was curious what others felt about her current appearance. But first she needed to change, the princess was reminded as she heard the sound of something ripping apart coming from behind her. She returned to her chambers to wear something, but much of her clothing no longer fit her. So with a bit of sneaking, she went and fetched something that belonged to her mother, which fit perfectly, plus showed off her newfound curves rather well. With that done, she went out for a stroll through the castle. At first, many in the castle did not recognize her, believing her to be some duchess or a foreign queen. When she admitted who she was, they were stunned. Many remarked about how beautiful she'd become, her figure and appearance reminding many of the late queen. Even her own father barely recognized his daughter, but still gave praise to her beauty. The princess was slightly embarrassed, but also happy about the reaction she was getting. Pleased with the results she got that evening, the princess returned to her room and went to bed, a smile on her face that she got to be so pretty for just one night. Yet when she awoke the next morning, she found herself still the way she was the night before. She didn't fully grasp how or why she was still like this. Was the change permanent? She didn't know and hoped this wouldn't affect her life too much. The princess went about her day mostly normal, though adapting to the attention she got and her body's new shape itself causing her some trouble, but nothing too worrisome. Yet, as the evening came and the princess was retiring to her room, she passed by a window, seeing the moon up once more, and she felt a heat building inside her just as before. She groaned as she watched herself changing again. The magic seemed more bizarre, more extreme than before as the princess felt her body warping like it was being stretched, squashed, and inflated by invisible hands. The princess experienced extreme vertigo as she changed further than before till it was done and was shocked by her outlandish appearance, looking like a caricature of herself with her whole figure now one big parody of itself, or small parody given her size. The princess was beside herself. She looked so weird, but cute? She didn't know what to make of herself. She felt sort of jello-like in how she jiggled with each movement, a slight bounce to her step. She felt weird, silly, so strange. She wasn't sure what to make of it, but what she did know was if this happened now, what would happen tomorrow? In a panic, she bounced through the halls, calling out for help as she rushed to the royal mage. The royal mage was admittedly flustered at first by the curse, the spell a strange mix of changes that had combined together to create the result he saw before him. But after a time, he managed to isolate the trigger itself, keeping the princess from shifting any further, though that left the new issue of her current state. He didn't know how long it might take to find a counter if indeed he could, worrying the little princess greatly. Time passed, and it was ultimately deemed to be impossible without finding the witch, who long since vanished from the land. But the princess learned to make do with her new form. She was not limited in her actions, and she found her appearance brought great joy to those who saw her, which made her happy in return. So she continued in her new, sillier life.